A shout out to our podcast sponsor, sportsponsorship.co.uk. If you or your business are interested in making a real difference to the Scottish game, supporting hundreds of kids into regular football, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk and they'll find the right fit for your brand. Hello and welcome to Tinpot's Scottish Football Podcast with myself, Tom, your host, and Matt and Andrew. Coming up in today's episode, we are reviewing the fixtures that we previewed just before the weekend. We've got the two Edinburgh derbies, the Spartans versus Edinburgh City. We've got the Hearts and the Hibs game, and Matthew's review of the championship tie between Dunfermline and Queen's Park. After that, we are dismantling the Rangers. What's gone wrong there? And what's next for Rangers? Ultimately, that is the big debate. And as always, we're going to have a quiz segment at the end. So that's what you're looking forward to in the next 45 minutes to an hour. But before we get into the football and stuff, it's always good to check in with your mates. So we'll do that now. Matthew, how are you? What have you been up to?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Had a busy weekend with the children. I'll update you on my latest food adventures. I was in Dobby's the weekend.
Nice.
In Dunfermline. And do you know if you get a main course, your kids get a meal for £1? Class.
There
Hey.
every weekend, mate.
Yeah, class.
Every
Honestly, it
Sunday.
was very good. Had an hour in the old soft play, and then we got some lunch, surrounded by the living dead. It was it was a nice spot. But yeah, they got like a big mac and cheese in the main, and then fish fingers and all that, and a drink for £1. Unbelievable. And you're talking like a milkshake, a flavoured milk, or a smoothie. A smoothie. Unreal. It was class. The kids loved it. And I polished off the garlic bread. It was class. Didn't eat the garlic bread. It's my favourite
How
thing.
much is the adult's main, though? That's the
Well, it
question.
varies between 10 to 14, depending on what you want.
Oh, that's fine. It's good.
So the mac and cheese was about 11. And then I was just doing that thing where I was like hoping that they would not eat it all, and that's how I could just like eat the rest of it. But they like that sort of thing. But I got the garlic bread and the salad, so I sort of made like a garlic bread salad sandwich. I mean, it was alright. And then they made me go outside to the worst play park, like, and Dobby's play park outside sucks. And I was like so windy, I was just standing there freezing as they were like running about and like what is it with kids, eh? Like this pathetic little play park is like some sort of like fucking magical.
It's just a swing,
It's
isn't
like
it?
a swing, like one wooden climbing like the steps, and then they just started running about Dobby's. I was chasing them about like, and they were just loving it. I was like, this is the worst, but they were just like, what is it with
Yeah.
kids, man? Like
Life
even,
was
like,
simpler then.
I know, even the shittiest like park to them is just like so much fun. Like I kind of
Yeah.
wish that I had that sort of attitude. Then I was reading Peter Pan to Maya, right? I've never seen Peter Pan. I was like, that's fucking load of nonsense, man, Peter Pan. I was telling you, like, those books, it was like a shortened book version of like a cartoon version of like the film sort of thing. So it was like a watered, like a shorter version anyway. But it's like, it's so dark, like all those ones like from the past, like Pinocchio and all that. Like fuck me, so grim. Pinocchio's like a wee donkey boy, you know, like going away like die and everything. Like Peter Pan's like some sort of pedo and that, like hanging about with the Lost Boys, or he like bums it. I don't even know. It's grim. So as he sticks to the new stuff, mate, like, I mean, it's all fucking roses and that, hey, like, back in the day, Disney was dark.
Pedo.
Well, surely he is, no? In one of the films, he's like...
No, because he's a boy. He's a kid.
Yeah, but he's like, got a man's brain, he's been there for like 100 years, so his brain will be all, like, old and that, and his body's all young, so I don't know.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, stop.
I didn't share those thoughts with the children, you know, they enjoyed the book, but they don't understand much.
They ruined it for everyone else now.
But it's just, why was it so weird and dark back in the Disney days, like of the 50s? It was like, fucking hell, relax,
Fucking
right?
Christ.
They'd seen some shit. They'd seen
Yeah,
what
there
just
was-
happened in the
yeah.
40s.
Scaring the kids, man.
That was
But
nothing
yeah,
to
that
them.
was my weekend, mate. Yeah, some revelations, Dobby's, Peter Pan.
Peter
Yeah.
Pan.
Just the usual.
Dobby's and
Fucking hell.
Pedo Pan and mac and
Pedo
cheese
Pan.
garlic bread. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend.
Sounds like it. What about you, Andrew? What's happening in your world?
I did have a busy weekend planned. I was on my way to try out Loch Leven's Larder on Saturday. Never been, but it looked pretty good, so we're going to go there for breakfast. But my young lass had just had some injections the day before, so we were on our way there, and got about halfway, and then she just projectile vomited from the back seat all the way through to the front. It's like kind of exorcist kind of shit. So I had to turn around, pull over, like rip everything out of the car basically, and try my best to scoop all the spew out, and then drove home. So that was nice. So yeah, it was just a weekend indoors. After that, didn't really bother trying to get back out. But then obviously Sunday was a bit of a roller coaster. It was pretty down and then pretty up at the end of it. So yeah, it was an interesting one. But yeah, nothing really that exciting to report, unfortunately.
How's the car smelling?
Recluse. It's honking.
Yeah.
So I've got
Windows
like this.
down all day.
Did all that, and then obviously a fucking storm was going, so it was like absolute pain in the arse because then everything was like blowing out the windows. So yeah, I've got like a stain remover spray, so I was like squishing that literally everywhere, scrubbing everything. And I was like, yeah, I think I nailed that. And then got in the car this morning to give her a lift to nursery, and I was like, fuck, it's in
the folds, mate. Yeah, all the folds.
I don't know where it is, but it's everywhere. I don't know how to deal with that, but yeah, it's not the first time it's happened, but it's the first time I can't find where the smell is actually coming from. So,
is it still to get fixed as well, or have you had it fixed?
Yeah, I've got the MOT on Thursday, so
lucky them, mate.
Fucking dying, like, absolutely stinking.
Try chucking a valet with it.
Yeah,
I don't know if they offer that service, but you could try.
I could maybe ask, yeah, but at least it might make them do it a bit quicker anyway. So, but fuck yeah. So that's all my news anyway. Pretty boring, but
you'll get to the larder one day, mate.
Yeah, one day.
It's overpriced shite anyway.
Is it? Have you been?
I've been once, and the coffee was quite expensive. Not that I had.
Oh, really?
The walk's very nice, but it's those classic places where like you can't go anywhere else, so they just charge you like whatever they want. But it's a very nice lock. I'll give it that. The walk is free, so
nice. Yeah, well that's alright then, isn't it?
Right. It's massive, eh? Like honestly, it's massive. This lock, it's huge.
Yeah,
huge.
It is pretty. I'm actually surprised there's not more stuff like around about it, but yeah, no, it looks cool. I'll try it sometime. How about you, Tam? How was your weekend?
Fine. Yeah, it was bowling as usual on Friday night, and a couple of games of pool.
Any food after?
I got beat. Got beat twice in the bowling by Kim. Yeah.
After your defeat to me, that's 3 in a row, mate.
I know. And before that, I also got beat by Kim 2 in a row. So I'm on a terrible streak. Thankfully, went back on the Saturday and redeemed myself. So
you had to go back. He said, "Oh, Kim, we've got a lovely day planned. Maybe a picnic, go for a walk. We're going to fucking walk to the bowl."
We had other company. Chloe was there as well, James's partner. So Matt's gone.
My God, why? What's going on with this camera?
We've lost Matt's video. Excellent.
It was being all funny. Like, to be fair, it was flashing earlier. don't mind me. I'm still here.
If you're new here, welcome to Tinpot. This is a regular occurrence.
That's weird. It's never happened before.
Don't worry, I've asked Father Christmas for a new lap.
The audio as well. Christ.
No.
Any chance Colin wants to bring Christmas forward and gift this to you now?
Hello?
You're there.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh my God, sorry, I don't actually know. It just was flickering. Like I was actually looking at it like 2 minutes ago, be like, that's an unusual flicker on the light of the laptop. And it just goes. Yeah, this is classic Tinpot.
Yeah, so sorry, back to Friday night bowling, and then on the way home it was the order of doner pizza and chips and cheese, which was half munched and then half fridged for a hangover. Let's say brunch. It's almost lunchtime. Nice. Hungover on Saturday. Went to actually get my eyes tested on Saturday for the first time in 4 years. They've gotten worse slightly. So yeah, the glasses that I lost / broke 2 or 3 years ago are going to come back. I've had to buy some glasses, so that from next week you'll probably see me in those. And then that wasn't also badly planned to do on a hangover. Never doing that again, because you get these bright lights shining in your eyes like puffs of air. It was a bad decision. The worst. Yeah, it was bad.
Jesus.
Binge watched Mobland.
It's good, eh? That's good.
Very, very good, very good. Tom Hardy can play so many characters. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as Tom Hanks, but he's fine.
Or Tom Jones.
And then Sunday. Nothing. It was a very quiet weekend,
Nice.
but can't complain.
Good stuff. Everyone's been action-packed.
We have been, and you were just mentioning roller coaster, Andrew, on Sunday.
What
you
the
said,
fuck are you doing, Matthew?
"God damn it,
Hello?
you're battering your keyboard."
To see this absolute like thudding. It's like he's just beating the shit out of his mic. Oh,
Hello, can you hear me now? Sorry, I just plugged the headphones. I just plugged them in too hard. Okay, right in the hole. Sorry.
Apologies to listeners. 10 minutes in, and you're just getting harassed with sounds of Matt.
It's a
battering his
shambles, man.
computer.
This is a thing. This is... Oh, it's not normal. There's something wrong with that camera, to be fair. Like...
oh, good.
Sorry, I'm trying to get to go back on.
We'll just crack on. I think.
Hopefully our listeners are audio only listeners. Sorry to do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, they'll be deaf by now. Smacking the shit out of your mic.
It's because it was off. It went off for a bit. I wasn't sure what was going on. So I was like testing to see if the bar was moving, and then I just fucking unplugged it and smashed it back in, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, Jesus, that's good.
If in doubt, smash it back in. See what happens.
Right, mate. Right.
That's the way to
Yeah.
do it.
Good smash.
Oh dear. Right. My point I was trying to make before Matt started battering his mic. It was just a fleeting point. But you mentioned, Andrew, the roller coaster. You were on a really low after that 1-1 draw with Falkirk, and then a real high at night after he got binned. The way roller coasters work, you can't really end up on a high. So it's just a
Gotta
heads
come
up.
back down again.
Yeah, you're coming back down to get off.
Unless you like start on a plateau and then the roller coaster goes down instead of going. You know what I mean?
How did you get up there in the first place? You walk
Well, maybe
up.
it digs into the ground. They've like burrowed it.
It's still the same thing. Anyway, moving on from roller coasters to football. There's no segue to be had there. I keep saying preview, and I want to say review. We're going to review the three fixtures that we picked for the weekend. As I said at the start, or at the top of the show, as they say, I've gone for the League Two fixture between the Spartans and Edinburgh City. And for this week, rather than just ad hoc chatting about it, I thought I'd try and do my best journalistic impression of a review. So I'm going to read it. This was written earlier on today, and you can let me know, could I get a job with the BBC as a sports journalist?
Okay.
Thank you. It was a hotly contested match at Ainsley Park, brackets Vanlock Community Stadium, between the two Edinburgh sides who share a fiery history over recent years, with ultras having been banned from their matches after repeated incidents of antisocial behaviour. That said, all credit to the 600 plus fans that turned out, and in particular to the citizens who made their voices heard throughout. City only named a 14-man squad with 3 on the bench, and the 3 on the bench were 16 years old, 16 years old, and 17 years old. A very, very young squad. The average age of the squad was 22. All season they've played with a sort of traditional centre half in Jack Duncan up top, which is mental. Shows where their squad's at. But he's actually done pretty well this season. He's got 4 goals in 13. And for a massive, massive centre half build, he puts himself about a lot, but surprisingly has a rather impressive touch. I thought he was very, very good on the day. Another standout player for me was Malik Zaid. He was sort of playing in the 10 role, technically very sharp, threatening on more than one occasion. I think he'll come good for them later on in the season. The only downside to the match was the refereeing performance. It's the poorest of everyone who crossed the white line. He made several clear errors from what I saw, and dished out 9 yellow cards needlessly. Oh, Matthew's back, which I've just noticed, and it's interrupted my flow. 9 yellow cards. It was a disgrace. Six of them went to City, and the Edinburgh City commentary team that I was listening to, they were ruddy outraged. To summarise, if the game had been tied, I don't think either manager would have been too disappointed. But City did well towards the end to fend off a wave of attacks from Spartans. They were throwing everything but the kitchen sink at it, really. Edinburgh City obviously sealed all 3 points with a 1-0 win. Michael McIndoe in his post-match interview made it clear that that was the sort of starting point for their season. Their players have the mindset of that's their season only just beginning, now that they've recouped the 15 points that were deducted. 18-point gap, though, to first place may be too much to overcome. But I expect they'll be in the playoff spots come May. After all that, 0 points for my prediction. I got it wrong again after predicting Spartans would win 2-1.
Well, firstly, impressive that Edinburgh City have recouped those 15 points. I mean, that's considering where they were and the situation. The reason for it. It was maybe looking like that situation may spiral, but it's actually really, really impressive. So it's incredible team spirit there to get the job done. And I thought also what was pretty sensational is your review. I thought that was great. Really enjoyed that.
Too
really
much
good.
facts for me, but it was alright. Not a vibe, too much facts.
I thought it was great. Really, actually, quite nervous about doing my review now because it's not going to be that professional.
Well,
Did the subs get on, Tam? Did the subs get on? Do you know?
Two of them did, yeah. A 16-year-old
Nice.
and a 17-year-old. So, yeah, Michael was heaping praise onto the full
Nice.
squad because difficult. I don't know what they're going to do for the remainder of the season. I think there's a few injuries. They've named sort of 5 subbies for most of their games so far this season, so they've got more. But
Can they sign players? Or
well, they've signed one boy from in the summer on a free from Dunfermline, the right back, I think he is. So I think they probably can. It can.
I think the Hamilton situation was that they couldn't buy players. I think it was, but don't know if it's the same. I'm not sure.
What a job McIndoe is doing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, really impressive.
Yeah.
I'd
They'll
never really
survive that.
heard him speak before, or if I have, I've forgotten about it. But he's got one of the funniest voices / accents in Scottish football. It's terrific.
Was it
really
like
confusing.
he from down
Well,
sort
he's
of-
lived in England for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. When he
and
played in England a long
It's
time.
like this, yeah. It's a weird mix of Scottish and English accent.
Nice.
But sounds like a good leader in that dressing room by the way he speaks after the game. So all credit to him. But you did fuck my prediction, so I'm still rooted to the bottom of the table on 0 points. Moving up to the championship then, Matthew, you were looking at the game between the Pars and Queen's Park.
Yeah, finished 0-0, which is a familiar story for Dunfermline going off the back of last season's pathetic goal-scoring exploits. A fairly even game. Both teams had chances, could you call them that? Dunfermline, a few efforts from the edge of the box at the bar in the first half. Were quite comfortable in possession. They look quite tidy when they've got the ball. Amadi and Gilmore in the middle are really classy players. But it's just getting the ball into that final third. They struggle to create clear chances. Lennon's gone to like a 3-4-3 since Rudden's been injured. And again, they just can't muster enough clear-cut opportunities to win the game. Queen's Park looked threatening, had one off the line in the first half. Didn't really get fouled or into too many goal-scoring positions, but I think they'll be more happy with a point. Dunfermline need to start looking over their shoulders now with Ross County picking up a victory against the Rovers. So you're thinking it could go either way for Dunfermline. Like they're only 3 points, I think, behind Arbroath, or 2 points, and then 3 points above Ross County. So they're stuck in the middle. They really need to start scoring some goals, winning some games. That's 4 that win. Since they battered 5 past Arbroath, they've not won a game. And as for Queen's Park, again, they'll be looking to avoid that 9th place or 10th. I think Airdrie will probably be 10th, so 9th's up for grabs for whoever's push enough to take it. But 0-0 draw. As I say, you worry about Dunfermline's goal scoring. And Queen's Park looked fairly threatening. So I think they might do okay this season. I predicted them to be bottom perhaps, but I mean I think they're performing above expectations, so if they can continue to do that, they'll be okay. But yeah, 0-0, so no points for me. I predicted a Dunfermline win, I think. So
That you did. You also went 2-1.
Yeah, not too sad about the draw. So
It's a pretty good review, but for me, just lacking a few match facts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't read about
Too much vibe.
I don't know the age of the subs, I'm afraid, mate. But I'll maybe next week I'll read them how old the subs were for both teams.
I didn't read how old the subs were when I was watching the extended highlights. There was an interview at the end of it with Michael, and he mentioned the ages of the subs, so I didn't actually read them.
Okay.
Take that back.
Sorry.
But yeah, nil point for Matt. He's still top of the tree on 3 though. And yeah, pretty good summary of of where things are in the Championship from you, our expert in that division. On to the top flight then, and it was the second of two Edinburgh derbies on Saturday, one being played at Tynecastle. Andrew, how did that game get on?
To be honest, a good derby. I thought it was actually a really good advert for the Scottish game. Miles better than the Old Firm game that we had a few weeks ago. Um, Hearts were a little bit more patient in the build-up, happy to try and sort of keep the ball. You could see that in their sort of possession stats early on. But I really thought the game kind of opened up a bit more after kind of 60 minutes. Being honest, anyone could have nicked the winner. It was a really tight game. I thought that Boyle was really threatening. That was his sort of main threat, I would say. I thought Bowie was a little bit disappointing. He's not been in good form for the last few games. He wasn't really that effective with his link-up play, holding up the ball, that kind of thing. And with that considered, actually, I'm kind of surprised that he's getting a call up for Scotland over Shankland, previously, because Shankland's form's been pretty steady since he sort of kicked off the season. So seeing how effective he was in sort of connecting the play during the derby, and being a threat up top as well, I thought he was thoroughly impressive. Grant Hanley. The most Brexit defender ever. He just plays on the edge of like every situation. There's points that I think he could have easily managed to get himself sent off. He was just he just I don't know. A lot of the time I just feel he's not really fully in control. But he gets away with it somehow. So I think maybe that might catch up with Hibs later in the season. But yeah, great goal. Halkett, I mean, unbelievable finish for a defender. Obviously right at the death, so there's nothing Hibs could do about it. Hearts flying high. They deserve the win as much as it was a tight game. Could have really gone either way, but based on how they've performed and how their mentality has been sustained, throughout the entire season so far. I think it was really well deserved. And, I think there was maybe a little bit of anxiousness around Tynecastle at times, when they were being a bit more patient on the ball, sometimes sort of, playing the ball backwards to get it forwards. But when they were playing that ball forwards, there was real intent. And you could see that there was a real plan there. I thought McInnes left it way too late to make the subs, because the majority of them came around the sort of 80-minute mark. So I thought, like, realistically, I don't know how much of an impact this is going to have, but he absolutely nailed it. He got it right on the money. So yeah, well deserved for Hearts. Well fought by Hibs, and I hope that maybe kicks on Hibs now. I know obviously they're in a bad run, but that kind of performance against pretty much anyone in the table would have got you a win.
Good summary. Interesting that this morning I came into work and I've got a Hibs fan and a Hearts fan at my table, and you'd expect the Hibs fan not to have enjoyed the game, but both of them said that it was a terrible game. So it's interesting that you, from a neutral perspective, you thought it was a really good derby and a good game and a good advert for it. But they both said it was shite quality, neither team really daring to go and try and win the game, both kind of sitting back, playing a bit too passively. But
I don't know, because I
guess it's all about the colour of your glasses, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah. Braga was really threatening. Boyle was caught offside maybe a couple of times. And he was away, and it was nip and tuck, especially with one of the calls. But as I said, it did kind of take to that 60-minute mark for the game to open up a bit and both teams to kind of go for it. But the possession play, particularly from Hearts and the build up to that 60 minutes, was really impressive. And I think there would have been some harsh criticism from maybe the fans and the neutrals, especially because the fans were getting a little bit edgy, I think, at the time. That they were maybe being a bit too patient, but McInnes just absolutely nailed the game plan. Like, that was it. So I think it was a great derby, to be honest. It wasn't, goalsy, or you didn't have shitloads of chances, leading up to that 60 minutes, but it was a much better game than that Old Firm game. It was a much better advert for Scottish football, and I thought the quality was decent there. Obviously, as I said, not laden with chances in the build up to that 60 minutes, but the quality of football is still good. The possession play was great, and there was intent to try and sort of move the ball forward. They were just really, really sort of tightly sort of competitive, within the game. There wasn't much between them. So yeah, maybe that's why it seemed a wee bit stale to some, but no, I thought it was good. It was a decent derby.
Lovely jubbly. Again, you predicted a 1-1 and it was 1-0 Hearts, so it's 0 points all round. We're all terrible at predicting the results this week, not just me.
Bugger.
Let's talk about someone else who's been rubbish, and that is the Rangers. The dirty scoundrels of Glasgow. 50% of the dirty scoundrels of Glasgow. Of course, it's now time for Mr. D. Bates.
Mr. Debates, Mr. Debates, Mr. Debates, Mr. Debates, Mr. Debates.
Jingle time, which will be will have played once the edit's done. So look at that continuity. Right, normally we have just one topic to debate. We're going to discuss the Rangers and the recent managerial change that's taken place at Ibrox. There's a few debates to be had within this. It's the overarching question is what next for Rangers, but in that there's a few debates to be had or a few questions to be asked. So let's start off as Julie Andrews did. Let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Where did it all go wrong for Russell Martin, do you think, Matt? Where did this stem from?
Did it ever go right? I don't know. Was it ever right for Russell Martin? It started off with fans not wanting him there, and it ended with the fans not wanting him there and rejoicing at his sacking, which is sad. To be so happy over another man's misery. He tried his best. You can't deny he didn't try. But it was clear from the outset that his methods were not suited to the job. And he was stubborn and refused to sort of adapt. And it's just sort of never really... We were talking about roller coasters earlier. I don't know. It's more like just sort of driving along the motorway and like crashing into a ditch, I suppose, like that maybe. And maybe sort of getting out to like get your car back up, but then it doesn't start. So you're just like there, and you call the AA, but then they're really busy, so you're waiting like 4 hours for them to come get you. So and then you just go home with your little backpack at the end of it. Like you see him yesterday with your backpack, like what a wanker, like what?
How's he a wanker for having a backpack?
He thinks he's too cool. That sums him up, man. This little fashionable
because he has a backpack. How else do you want him to carry his stuff?
He's not fucking Pep Guardiola when Pep used to wear those weird little cardigans and that, fucking... that sums him up to me. I'm not... The backpack... I bet that backpack cost about 500 quid or something. I bet it was like Louis Vuitton or something.
It's all relative. You pay a fiver, that's what you can afford. He can afford 500 quid. If you're going to pick holes in the man, the one thing to do it on is dress choice.
Well, you're a
Falkirk
Stadium yesterday. The only thing I think of was, why is he wearing that fucking backpack? Is he off to school? Like, is he fucking gonna do maths and fucking first period? What are you doing, mate? Carry a man bag or a big rucksack or something, like a big fucking army bag. And wear a suit. Like, that's his problem, eh? He was too up his own arse.
God.
That's where... No, I'm talking about as a manager, and the problem with Russell Martin is he loves Russell Martin more than... He's just self-obsessed. That's his problem, and
because he doesn't wear the Rangers
forget the
tie,
backpack and that,
and he wore a backpack.
The whole thing starts just badly, and then he digging out the players after the first league game, like throwing people under the bus, always protecting himself at all costs, refusing to change, talking absolute nonsense. I think it was a difficult job, but he came in at a positive time for Rangers, like with the takeover, and so I don't know, what did they not do their due diligence of this guy and realise like who he was and how he spoke and what the way he was, like his whole sort of vibe was just like off-putting, and it didn't really, the fans didn't like it, and I'm not saying the manager has to be pandering to the needs of the fans, but you have to at least a wee bit, show some sort of understanding of where you are and who who you're dealing with. Like we just didn't get it, I don't think. And I know that's the typical sort of thing. Oh, it's different up here, but it is a bit different, like than managing Southampton. I mean, I don't think one of their fucking fans is Rishi Sunak, that prick. He fucking and that weird guy that does the dancing. Mind him, seen that guy?
Yeah.
The big fat guy, he's like fucking doing that dance.
Yeah.
That's like the two Southampton fans that you know of. And Matt Letizia, who's like a mental fucking like selling fucking CBD oil now. Yeah, like that's the fans Southampton. Like they're pretty passive. Like I don't think the big fat guy who's doing the dance is gonna fucking attack the boss or Rishi Sunak throw fucking pies at him. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going off topic here. I'll let Andrew.
So yeah, I was gonna say you've kind of touched on a few things, and one of which is his attitude and his sort of personality, and the other is his style of play. They might cross over a little bit and both be at fault. But where did you think it went wrong for Martin, Andrew?
I think this could be a 3-hour pod, but in short, I agree with Matthew on pretty much all his points. To elaborate,
even the backpack.
His backpack can get to fuck. Like honestly, like he didn't respect Rangers. It's not just about the backpack, but no, he didn't respect Rangers. That's the thing. I think one of Matthew's key points was that he didn't respect his surroundings in the sense that it's not the club that you can just get draw after draw after draw after draw. The fans will turn on you. Who knew? Obviously that was going to happen. For me, I don't feel sorry for him at all. Ultimately, there's this argument going about now that he's the victim and all this kind of shit. To be honest with you, he's not. Like, he could have left at any point. If he felt that this was too much for him, it was too much for his family, he didn't like the situation he was in, he could have left. Yes, he wouldn't have got a payout, but you're only deserving of that payout, under certain circumstances. You can't just, if it's that bad, leave. So I don't have any sympathy for him. The way that he's operated, in the hot seat has been disgraceful, in my opinion. He's fallen out with a lot of key players, so much to the extent that, we've had our best player frozen out for a good series of games when we're really struggling for results. We've lost our best promising player in Egaman because of Russell Martin. That wouldn't have happened under Clement. That wouldn't have happened under Barry Ferguson. He fell out with him. Same with Jeff Day, fell out with him. We've ended up there with another loan signing in at the back four. Having to start the games. I fell out with Tav early on, which seems to have recovered only because Max Aarons was faltering so much. So ultimately, I don't think his man management has been good at all. In fact, I think it's been probably the worst I've seen, for a Rangers manager, and that's where it started to go wrong. To come back to your initial question, that's where everything started to go wrong. He lost the dressing room really quickly, and the reason he lost the dressing room, is his ego. He will not back down from his style of play, and unfortunately, it just does not work. It's two balls, thrown up and it's back of the net, and that happened time and time again. It happened in almost every league game. We were really exposed with it, in the most recent European games. I mean, Rangers have been okay. Now you can only really say okay because there's an unfortunate sort of change in the barometer now with Russell Martin's standards, but they've been okay domestically, but they've thrived in Europe. Rangers have completely lost that. There's from a fan's perspective, there has been nothing to look forward to. Domestically, it's been awful. In Europe, it's just gone from bad to worse. Teams like Genk, teams like Sturm Graz, like we should be beating them, and probably comfortably. Those are the points that we have to pick up. We've got then Roma, we've got Porto, we've got difficult ties to come up, And that's where we really needed those cushion of those points. So European football is, unless the new manager comes in and works miracles, it's a bit of a dead duck. I can't really see that coming to anything now. I think the focus has to be on domestic, and especially given where Rangers are. But I could go on and on, but we all know the stats. The away records defending terrible. The records that he's broken. For Rangers in a terrible way. That haven't been touched since the 1800s. Is embarrassing. The win rate for for a full time manager of Rangers is 29%, which is the next in line I think was 44%. So it just shows you how bad he really is. But he could have made this easier if he just wasn't so stubborn. If he just tried to adapt a little bit more to his surroundings, it could have went a little bit better. But instead, he was too stubborn, in my opinion. And as Matt said, every single week, it was excuse after excuse after excuse. It was everyone else's fault apart from his. So for me, no sympathy.
Interesting. That was a fairly good debrief of from start to finish, where it started to go wrong, where it ended up, what he's done in the middle, his attitude, his approach on the pitch. Lots to sort of get into that or dissect. So the only thing I understand that it's a results-based business, and understand that your football, if you're drawing games, you need to see signs of improvement, and there definitely was no signs of improvement whatsoever. So I fully agree with that. I think if you're going to whip out stats like the 29% win rate, that comes with a slight pinch of salt, which is that if you take a snapshot of, 15 games or something he was in charge for, whatever the total game count was, if you take a snapshot of some Rangers managers' percentages over 15 games at any point in their career, there will be a run of 15 games where it's pretty close to 29%. That's the only small caveat. But the counter argument to that is the point I made at the start, which is you need to see signs of improvement and signs that you're going to start winning football games. So I'm fully on board with that.
I think as well, just to jump in there, none of those managers that have had maybe a bad patch in 15 games have spent 30 million quid in the build up to starting those 15 games. So, he's been backed like any other, like no other manager before for Rangers. And so I don't buy that. I really don't buy that. He's had the tools there. So I can't really accept that.
Speaking of buying and
there's a
stuff
good
like
reason
that,
why he's
surely
the shortest manager.
Surely, speaking of buying players, we should be expecting a resignation from Thelwell anytime soon. Do you think, Andrew? He signed the manager, he signed the players, and now he's appointed his bloody son as recruitment. That's an absolute joke. It's a fucking boys' club. Was he just going to hire his grandma to do the fucking sandwiches or what? Like, come on. This guy's a clown. Clearly, he's unfit for the job. He needs to go as well.
It does look like that. It does look like that, and the optics are not great on that appointment. So the pressure's on. The pressure's massively on. And reading the statement from the owners today, one part of that really stood out to me was that they're going to be heavily involved in the next appointment. So they're not fucking about. They put their hands up. They were honest. They didn't try and fool the support. I think the statement was actually really good, in my opinion. It wasn't well received by everyone, but I thought it was really good. But Thelwell and Patrick Stewart are right under pressure now. If they get this appointment wrong, or if they take too long, or whatever, that pressure's not going to go away from the fans. If, in fact, there's going to be a decent portion of those fans that are really going to have it out for them.
So did Martin ever say in any of the signings? Was he involved in the recruitment process as well? And Russell Martin, so he picked the players he wanted in conjunction
looking at the
with
history, and looking at the response to some of the signings, in terms of him being really familiar with, the likes of Migoma, the likes of what's his name in midfield that they got from Leeds, completely escaped my Rothwell.
Yeah.
These kind of players. The majority of the signings have come from England. So they're all players that he's very familiar with, and he seemed to want every time that there was a sort of update or press release after. So I think he's not necessarily been the judge, jury, executioner, I suppose, in the recruitment area, but he will have forced his the hands in certain ways, because we've had to offload certain players as well. So it's as much as being a hand in recruiting players in, but also having to recruit because he's forcing players out. So he's got a lot to do with that.
The 30 million spent as well. I personally think I'm not. By the way, none of this is me defending him saying he should still be in a job. I think it's probably about the time that he does go because there was no sign of improvement on the pitch. That's the baseline of all these points. But I'd just like to play devil's advocate a wee bit. Everyone's talking about 30 million, but you did also sell. I don't know, was it close to £20 million worth of player? Maybe even more than that. So it's net spend that you should really look at. I think. If you lose Dessers and Eagleman, and I know part of that is maybe his fault or whatever it might be, but those players have walked out the door, so you've lost that talent and you've brought in 30. So I think net spend's important.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I take your point, but it's inexcusable to be losing those two players. Two of your youngest, most promising players. Jeffy played a lot more minutes than he probably should have last season. But he was a really good, promising young player. I think he was only 21, 22, when he left us. So he's a player that was ready to kick on this season. And Eagleman, I mean, he was so highly rated. You look at how he's performed now since his move, getting regular football. This was his season, with Dessers inevitably moving on. This was his season to take that 9 shirt and really thrive, but it didn't happen because of what happened behind the scenes. So, and it isn't just a one-off because you look at the Raskin situation, you look at the Tav situation, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen such a capitulation, in the background, where it's blatantly obvious that everyone's kind of playing against their will. It was a crazy situation. It went on far too long, in my opinion.
What's interesting to go back to is episode 6 or 7 of this podcast. We were discussing the problems at Rangers just early in the season, maybe after a game or so, and you'd said something that I think a few Rangers fans agree with, which is there's an issue with the personalities in that dressing room. That was when you personally were still on board with Martin being there and happy to back him. Mm-hmm. A lot of the fans weren't sharing that opinion, but you were still happy with him and you were saying there's a massive personality issue in the dressing room. Those players are still there. Yep. Those people with those personality issues that you've said, and you've said they've been there for a couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. Chris Sutton's called them serial losers and got a lot of flack for it. So those personalities are still there. What is going to happen when a new manager comes in with those personalities there? Definitely. I think that's a brilliant question. My sort of view of it at the time was effectively, well, you know how positive I was before the season had started. I was really backing the manager and wanting to. I was seeing the quality of signings coming through. I was listening to what he was saying in terms of the style of football he was wanting to play. He was saying he was going to win at all costs. So if he needed to adapt his game, he would. That never fucking happened. I was obviously basing it on the landscape at the time. And then, he comes out after the Motherwell result, which, look, let's be honest, to lose away, at Motherwell, first game of the season or draw, is something you can recover from. It's not a complete disaster, but it was a bad start. But the way he kind of dug out the personalities at that point, you thought, well, good. If that's the problem, then good. You're digging those players out. And that's where, personally, I sort of looked at James Tavernier particularly and said, look, he needs to really pull his finger out here. If that's the problem, he's the one that's really got to be influencing the players to understand what it is to play for Rangers, and will set those standards effectively. And it seems like Martin was digging him out and digging out other players like Raskan, for example. At that point, and I was behind him. Of course I was. What became evident, after that was that totally was not the problem. And actually, credit to James Tavernier, he has probably been the only player that has consistently been trying really, really hard through this difficult point. He's been in positions that he really shouldn't fucking be in to just try and force something to happen in the game. It's been against the
the style of play. It's him trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck. He's not a Scott Brown where he will be vocal or whatever. He's a player that inspires by leading, by example. And personally, seeing the efforts that he's applied, over the last few games, I would say that he's actually shown to be a decent leader in those circumstances. What they really need to do is they really need to get that management right, that appointment right. They have to get that right now. And I said this a couple of weeks ago when the landscape had changed. It's the man management that's the problem. If they can get someone that's a decent man manager that doesn't overcomplicate the football, as you two lads have said several times, then ultimately Rangers, in my opinion, have got the best squad in the SPFL. I actually think they've got really, really good quality players in there. Gassama's a brilliant player. Ant-Man's a brilliant player. Miovski's a brilliant player. I mean, you saw that on the weekend. There was only one ball into the box, and what does he do? He slots it away. So there's a lot of good quality there. Raskan, Diomande, Suter, I actually think is a brilliant defender. He comes under a lot of scrutiny. We could go on and on and on. But there's a good team there. They just need the right manager. Keep it simple, and someone who's a decent man manager to go and turn it around. That's where this has gone wrong. But anyone who's kind of backed Martin, because they feel it's wrong to kind of turn against the manager as soon as he's appointed, which I do think was wrong. I think they've only realised sort of what's actually going on behind the scenes as it's sort of unfolded week on week. So that's how that's kind of come about.
My question wasn't so much about the comparison of it had nothing to do with Martin really. It's more the leadership in the dressing room that you'd criticised and the players' attitudes, which you'd said before Martin was there, and a lot of those key players are still in the dressing room. So that's more my point. It's like you said there was a culture issue within the dressing room, which is you'd said existed before Martin had come. So we're not going to get back into that same question again, but that was more my point. I think I'd maybe not said it the right way around, but we can go on to how it's solved, which is what you just touched on. So if that is still an issue or if it's not, I mean, where do Rangers go next, Matt? What's your thoughts on who's coming into the dressing room and how they're going to cope?
I think you need to bring a manager who is known to the... Can you hear me okay? Hello? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, the laptop froze. Anyway, I think you need to bring in a manager that's known to the fans, that brings the good vibes. And that man, Steven Gerrard, bring him back. The fans know him. I think they'll forgive him now. He's going to be a hero in their eyes. You can't bring another random fucking unknown guy from the English Championship or whatever. I don't know. I think you have to go with someone who knows Rangers and the fans know him, and he can hit the ground running and just get back to playing Rangers ball, which is fast, attacking football and dominating teams. Why can't why did it not work? I just don't understand what he was trying to do, that he couldn't get the ball and dominate. I thought that was his thing, when he was... So anyway, yeah, I think Gerrard knows what... I just don't understand Martin.
So see,
Gerrard is a good guy.
Your point about Gerrard, you've said you need someone, a name that Rangers know, or someone that knows Rangers, and you mentioned Gerrard because he's done it before. You can't go down the route of someone else who's done it before because the rest of them were broadly shite. So it would need to be, if it's not Gerrard then, for example, and someone else that fits your profile, who else do you think that could be?
Is Dick Advocat still alive? Or I don't know. Well, Gerrard is the most recent one. Well, I know Walter Smith's definitely dead. I don't think Ali McCoy did a good job at the higher level. Warburton, again, it ended badly for him, although he was pretty successful for that one season.
You can't have anyone that's done it because, like I say,
none of them
according to the fans, every one of them was shite bar Gerrard. So anyone else that fits your profile that knows the club or knows how big Rangers are, knows Scottish football perhaps, that is going to play that style of football.
Well, maybe they can flutter for Derek McInnes, a wee 6-figure deal for him, pay the compensation.
Already on 6 figures.
How much is the compensation, mate? Compensation? I don't know. Would that be a thing, do you think, Derek McInnes?
That's who Boydie was trying to push for. I think that was Boydie's choice when I was listening to him.
What a statement that would be like. and he would.
Don't think so. I think
He wouldn't
he's
go to
got too much
Rangers.
integrity, like to go away from Hearts, and he's bought into that project. He's performing.
I'd be so box office though, mate. I'd be fucking mad.
I think Hearts is his level as well, though. I do think that. I do feel that I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that he's really able to thrive under the circumstances at Hearts. I think going to Rangers, if I were him, I'm not sure I would do it because it's going into a much more difficult environment. You've got something to turn around. Whereas if when he went into Hearts, especially with how organised Tony Bloom's been, that transition was seamless.
Yeah, it was still a turnaround project of sorts, wasn't it? But it's
just
less dramatic
managed.
without the same size of pressure. So
Yeah,
when I woke up
Kind
this
of
morning,
kind of like a underdog type manager who can, like, but if he's the man, the big dog at the top of the table, then he would struggle to get his teams to sort of dominate the ball. Is that what you think?
I think
hard to know without trying.
I know.
it's difficult to know. Yeah, I think I just don't think that Derek McInnes is the kind of guy that would take the job right now. I just don't think so. He's just in the door at Hearts and he's doing an amazing job. He's got the opportunity to make history. And it's a brilliant project, and Hearts are going to buy into him for years and years and years. You look at the turnover of managers at Rangers. Yes, they give Martin a lot of time, with this new ownership. But I don't know. Is it worth it? To throw that away? I don't think so.
I don't think you
personally.
touch it, to be honest. No,
No.
I agree. When I woke up this morning, I looked at the odds for the next manager, and there's two favourites at that time, which was Kevin Muscat, who's obviously out in China just now. He's worked under Ange Postecoglou before. He's won leagues in Australia and Japan and in China. He seems to have been tipped with the Rangers job every time it's come up over the last sort of 4 or 5 seasons, which is
He's
strange.
fucking mental, eh? He'll take no shit off anyone. Like, he's an absolute monster.
He's plays proper like fast paced
he'll
attacking
fucking
football, always on the
his own
front foot.
players in the training ground, like, if they're being league dicks, eh?
The other fella that was right up at the top of the list was Danny Roll, the manager of Sheffield Wednesday.
That's what I'm saying. Avoid that nonsense. Like, I know did a good job at Sheffield Wednesday, like, but you can't bring in another randomer like from the down south, mate. Fucking damn south.
So sorry, those two were the two favourites this morning. I've checked it just before we came on tonight, and
on McBookie, is it?
And now right at the top with the shortest odds is Stephen Gerrard, who is 5-4, 6-4, 11-10 across the board. Then it's Deitch, and a new name's been added to that list that I didn't see this morning, which was David Weir. So those are the sort of names being banded about. Gerrard obviously being the hot favourite. Andrew, as a Rangers fan, who do you think will get the job? Who do you want to get the job? Two separate questions.
Well, I think firstly, David Weir's only there because he was on the TV on the weekend. David Weir's no interest in going into management as far as I'm aware.
6-1, mate. 6-1.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a good way to lose your money. But who do I think? Well, it's hard to say. I think there will be more involvement as the ownership have come out today. So I do think the whole Tellwell kind of influence might not be as strong. If it was up to him, I think we'd end up with Sean Dyche, because he's from Everton and he just creams over anything from Everton. He'll probably offer to pay him 10 times his fucking salary, and and offer money to Everton to buy him or something like that. So I think I actually don't know where we'll go. Because I think the Americans are going to be so focused on getting it right. The two names that I would take would be Knutson from Bodo Glimt, who's been in the mix for us for ages, years. Even Celtic were kind of tipped with him, before Brenda came back. And what he's done there is incredible. His contract expires in December. I heard some rumours today about Barry Ferguson being approached to take it on the interim. So you just wonder if they're maybe looking at somebody that they can't get immediately. But anyway, I won't go into whatever those details were in those rumours. But I think he would do a good job of bringing the right culture to the team, and also he's capable, once he gets up and running, of performing in Europe and domestically. Who I would actually like to see is, obviously no fucking surprise, is Stephen Robinson. who's not in the mix at all. But I'll tell you why. The main reason I think he would be good is he gets the most out of with respect, players on a shoestring budget, and I think he is, when you're watching his interviews and the sort of build-up play to that Rangers game, when he was getting interviewed by Sky Sports, it looks like him and his backroom team are ready for a step up. And he knows the league inside out. To be honest, that's Rangers' biggest problem. It's just getting a handle on the league. The pressure on Europe is gone. There's big games to come up. If you fuck them up, you fuck them up. To be honest, I would play almost the second string side in Europe now. So just get it right domestically. I think someone like that, no bullshit, simple football, the players that he likes to be physical up top. You've got Miovski, you've got Chermiti, who's about 8 feet tall. You can play the type of football you want to, play under Robinson, be rough and ready. Raskan can be very physical. You've got, two big centre backs there as well. So I think that style would slip in fine, and it would just provide a bit of a platform for Rangers. Will it last for 5 years or something? Probably not. But if you look at how sort of Man City transitioned, it's kind of a similar situation, but on a shoestring budget basically. So I would look at somebody that actually knows what they're doing, knows the league inside out, and go for that.
So you'd prefer Stephen Robinson to Derek McInnes?
Well, only because I don't think Derek McInnes would take it. That's
yeah, but that's
thing,
not. I mean, neither's the first boy you mentioned, Knutson. He's not going to come, and Stephen Robinson's nowhere near one of the favourites either.
You asked me who I would like.
Yeah, exactly. So who you would like should be Derek McInnes if you'd prefer him to Stephen Robinson.
I don't prefer him to Stephen Robinson.
Right, so that was my question. But you said you didn't ask me that. Who would you prefer? Answer the question.
Stephen Robinson. I've said for ages Stephen Robinson, so I'm
over Derek McInnes.
Over Derek McInnes because, as I said, I don't think Derek McInnes would take it, and for the reasons he wouldn't take it, I think that's it. Ultimately, if he came, he would be going into a high pressure situation. It would almost be like a kind of step down in structure, I guess, when you're looking at Hearts. But Robinson, it's all a step up for him. It's if he's got the right attitude and he's hungry, it's all a massive step up for him. So I really think that someone like that shows the hunger, desire, that will win by any means necessary, and is given then those tools to kind of go at it. That's what I would go for. He won't get the job. He won't even come close to. He won't even be getting a phone call. But that's who I would take. Our biggest problem has been domestic football for years and years and years and years. We need to get that right.
I'm going to press you like Paxman. You couldn't tell me who you think it's going to be, but I am going to press you for a name. Who do you think it's going to be? If gun to your head, you've got to tell me one man.
Michael Carrick.
Carrick? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not too much of a curveball, to be fair.
Carrick out of nowhere. No. Didn't even mention it once, mate. Not going to blow your nuts and no.
I think it will be because of Thelwell and how he only seems to shop in one market most of the time. I think it will be
Carrick.
It'll be someone like Carrick.
Decent connections. I think now's the good time for Gerrard to come back. All will be forgiven if he come back now after the disaster that is Martin. If some fans still annoyed at Gerrard for leaving, they'll forgive him now. He's been the messiah compared to fucking Martin Russell.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is the backroom team is the most important thing to get right if you're bringing Gerrard back. And
get Beale back then as well. Bloody hell, bringing Beale back as his assistant, big Gary McAllister as well. I don't know.
If there was any time to slip that under the radar, it would be now. So to be fair, but I don't know if Beale would really be looking for an assistant's job or anything like that. I don't know, but his team would need to be right. It would need to be absolutely bob on for him to have a chance of success. But whoever it is, I do think they'll maybe get an extra decent packet in January to spend. Despite having spent so much in the summer, so it's a good opportunity. But getting the right appointment is so crucial right now.
Well, if you fancy Michael Carrick, you can get 33 to 1 on him. Shorter odds include names such as Steve Clark.
Mr. Blobby
Is a shorter.
I saw that on BBC.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of
Ole Gunnar
there.
Solskjaer, Ange Postecoglou, also shorter odds.
And what about for Mr. S. Robinson there, Tam? Is he on the list?
He's not on the list.
Not on the
that I
list.
can
Not
see.
even there. Not even there.
So yeah, there we go. That is Rangers and what Andrew and Matt think is going to happen next. And just in one 10 word sentence, from each of you, what can Rangers do between now and the rest of the season if they were to get the managerial appointment right, Matt?
Top half, mate.
Top half, Andrew?
If they get it right, they could win the league.
Oh,
Wow.
Boyd, you said that as well earlier.
Yeah,
There you
imagine
go.
that.
It's
This
pretty
season's
crisp
fucking
Boyd
epic.
school of thinking.
This season's class, man. This could be
I
the
know.
best season ever. Like,
It's like WWF boxing.
so
office,
good.
isn't it?
so good.
It's like Raw is War.
Bro, it's fucking war, mate. It's class. There's going to be some surprise, man. I'm telling you, fucking someone's coming back for the dead to be the Rangers manager. I'll tell you that now.
Stephen Presley.
St Mirren's going to win the league out of nowhere. Stephen Robinson give it the big
Stephen
suck at
Presley.
the end.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Stephen
That has
Robinson.
been terrific for a Monday evening. Not time to finish just yet, though. We've got a little quiz coming up, brought to you by Stirling's only fully vegan bar and kitchen, Nooch.
In a world where sponsorship is more accessible than ever, that world exists at sportsponsorship.co.uk. Whether you're interested in making a difference to your local community or further afield, or perhaps you're looking for access to tens of thousands of followers online to push your brand further than ever, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk. That's sportsponsorship.co.uk.
This week's quiz is another surprise, a new format for you and all of our listeners, and it's who the bloody hell do you think you are? Who do you think you are? That's the name. I'm going to basically give you. These are all Scottish footballers that you're trying to guess. It's Matt versus Andrew. I'm going to give you They're all retired as well, all retired, but all from in our lifetime, so all 21st century.
Okay.
You're not going to be taking notes because it's going to be relatively quick fired here.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you if they've got any
Put the
caps
pen
or not,
down,
how many
Andrew.
caps they've got. And then we'll just start at the start of their career. I'm not going to give you goals or appearances for each club. I'll just give you a rough indication. I'll talk you through it. You're going to then buzz in. I need to hear each of your buzzers.
Ah.
Matthew?
Brr.
Oh. You had full creative freedom to do what you wanted there, and you've gone with brr.
We'll just say our names, it'll be easier.
Andrew, do you want a buzzer, or do you want to say your name and be a boring prick?
I'm going to say Russell Martin's Vegetable Army.
Okay.
I'll
go-
stick with Brr.
Burr and Russell Martin's Vegetable Army. So at any point you can stop me and you can use your buzzer. You're only going to get one guess each, though. If you get it wrong, the other person gets to hear the up to the next 3 clubs to try and guess it.
Okay.
There's 5 in total here, so it can't be a draw. It's basically first to 3.
Okay.
Starting with a man born in Edinburgh in 1978. He had a whole host of caps. He had 46 Scotland caps and started his career at Heart of Midlothian in 1996. He then moved on in the year 2000 to Everton. He then moved from Everton in 2007 to Sheffield United. That's a Matthew Buzz.
Oh, David Unsworth. Is he Scottish?
It's not David Unsworth.
Totally shat
That's just fucking awful.
Is he Scottish,
So,
though?
Andrew, I don't think he is Scottish, no.
He is
But
Scottish.
Is he? Okay.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's not. Yeah, he's
He's
English,
probably
mate.
not, mate.
That's
I've completely
terrible.
fucked-
David
I've
Gerald
completely-
Unsworth. He's got a cap for England, so...
Does he actually?
You're frozen out, Andrew. You can hear the next 3 clubs for free, and then tell me who you think it is. Huddersfield Town he moved to then in 2010. That was from Sheffield United. He spent 2 years at Huddersfield Town before moving to Aberdeen for a year. before retiring in 2013 at East Fife.
East fucking. When did he play for East Fife? Sorry.
2013 to 16.
I've got this wrong, but it's the only. I got a name stuck in my head and I can't get rid of it. So I've got Mikhail Smith.
It's not Craig McHale Smith. It's a
No.
bit too before his time.
Yeah, it's
McHale
just got
Smith
stuck
wasn't
in my
born
head.
in 78. It's Gary Naismith.
Oh yeah, Naismith. Fucking Unsworth.
David Unsworth might be the worst shout this
No.
podcast's ever heard.
David Unsworth. I thought
So
there was
bad.
English folk that was Scottish. I completely got the dates wrong. Like,
David Unsworth never even played in Scotland.
he's fucking one of those boys like fucking Graham
Mental.
Alexander and that. Those pricks. Yeah, one of the type of those guys.
Well, if you struggled to get that first one, he's, I think, maybe our most capped player of the list.
Mate, I'm a
You're-
visual quizzer. I need the fucking visuals.
Next up, we have a midfielder born in Greenock in 1985 who is uncapped.
So he's 40.
He started his career at Blackburn Rovers in 2003.
Midfielder, did
play
you
any-
say?
Pardon?
Midfielder,
Midfielder,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Didn't
cool.
play any games for Blackburn, went on loan to a bunch of different clubs, but we're not going to go through that. In 06, he moved to Grimsby. In 07, he moved to Partick Thistle. He spent 2 years there before moving to Dundee in 2009. Then in 2011, he moved to Kilmarnock. Oh,
Is it Gary Harkins?
it's Gary Harkins!
Oh.
Remarkable.
Fucking hell. Redemption there. I was thinking, is he Irish?
I had
Next
no
up,
clue
so it's-
who that was.
1-0 to Matthew. Next up, we have a man born in Lanark in 1982. He had 10 Scotland caps in his career, and he's a midfielder. Started his career in 2000 at Motherwell. Was there for 4 years before moving to Celtic in 04. Spent 3 years at Celtic before going to Derby County in 07. Oh, it's another buzz.
Is it Stephen Pearson?
Stephen Paul Pearson, well done, sir. Another point to you, 2-0. And this will be our last one, so I mean, I will do a tiebreaker if you get this, Andrew.
Not our last one, it's our fourth one.
Is it? No, we've had Naismith, we've had Harkins, we've had... Oh yes, I missed one, you're spot on.
Unsworth.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you for that,
Unsworth.
Matthew.
It's okay.
Another man born in 1982, in Coatbridge this time, another midfielder. And he had 0 Scotland caps, although he did have 1 for the B team.
Nice.
He started his career in 1998 at Falkirk. In 2003, so he spent 5 years at Falkirk, he then moved to Dundee United. He spent
I can't remember
5...
any of this information, so that's my problem.
You used to write it
Went-
down.
I've
Falkirk to
forgotten
Dundee
his
United,
I've forgotten his
then
birth. I've forgotten everything.
then Dundee United to Aberdeen in 2008.
It's a midfielder.
Yep, midfielder, who is
Will
currently
Flood or something. I
aged
don't know. Fuck.
43. Has to be
He's
Scottish,
Irish,
unfortunately.
mate.
I didn't buzz. So
You didn't buzz,
actually,
yeah.
technically,
So anyway, we've gone from
Indeed.
Falkirk to Dundee United to Aberdeen, spent roughly 5 years at Falkirk, 5 years at United, 2 years at Aberdeen, before moving to Asteras Tripolis for a year.
What?
This midfielder, who is currently
fucking
43.
No idea.
Did he
Came
come
back
back, or?
to Scotland
Okay.
and played for Dunfermline for a year. Then he moved to the D's in 2012 for a season.
Dundee.
Yep. And then he moved to Partick Thistle. Didn't play a single game for Partick, but was there for a year. In 2014, went to Queen of the South for a season. Then had 3 more years at Falkirk, the club that he started at. And retired at Ayr in 2021 after playing there for 3 years. Ayr. Midfielder, born in Coatbridge, currently aged 43. Falkirk, United, Aberdeen, Dunfermline, Dundee, Thistle, Queens, Falkirk, Ayr. Currently, the assistant manager of Kelty Hearts.
Fucking no idea.
Didn't know this.
Whilst he was at Ayr in his playing days, he was player manager, so he's managed Ayr for 2 years.
How do I
Can't give you any more clues. There's nothing else on his
Fucking
wiki page.
clue. Scott Brown,
I can't think of this guy's name.
Stephen Fletcher.
You both know who this player is. Yes. Got a
Is it
buzz.
Mark Kerr?
Mark Kerr, well done. 3
He's not
points.
assistant at Kelly Hearts now.
That's what his Wikipedia says.
What years
No, he was there when Charlie McGrew was there, and he left at the end of last season.
Get your facts right, Wiki.
Oh, fucking great! So we're just guessing shit with fucking dodgy facts.
Yeah, it's
Told you
unbelievable.
were-
Actually Scottish, mate. Wikipedia's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Bullshit. He's got a Scottish gran. I'm fucking
Yeah,
sure of it.
mate.
Yeah.
He had
Well,
that
I
cross
apologise. Tough
Silk and
tits.
go.
The last one, we'll do it just to round things off. We'll make it worth triple points, just to
Get
try and make. No, it's still worth 1 point. We have a bit of integrity. A Scottish, of course, striker, born in 1987 in Shrewsbury, of all places. This man has 33 caps for Scotland. He started his career in 2004 at Hibernian.
Russell
In
Martin's
2009, after spending 5 years at Hibs, went to Burnley.
I just fucking buzzed a minute ago.
What do you mean?
That's fine. Carry on.
Oh no, he's buzzed. Sorry,
sorry.
I apologise.
He said
Carry on.
Atlee was just
That's
like
fine.
mumbling some
That's all
nonsense.
good.
No, Andrew,
Go on,
on you go.
That's okay. That's fine.
What's your buzzer again? Russell Martin's
Russell
vegetables.
Martin's Vegetable Army.
Atlee was mumbling because he couldn't remember the answer. Proceed, please, Andrew.
I said Stephen Fletcher, but he's just carried on. It's not him anyway. So
Well done, Andrew. You get a point, Stephen Fletcher, and you also get an official apology from me for not hearing you.
I
Apologies.
didn't hear him either.
apology for the wrong information as well.
No, that's Wikipedia's fault. That's nothing to do with me.
Okay, fair enough.
But
Couldn't
either
draw.
way, you would have lost the quiz because by that stage he'd already gathered the 3 points he needed.
Could have drawn it.
Could have drawn it, yeah.
Can't. No, you couldn't have thrown it.
Oh,
You would've
because
known
you've
Mark
said
Kerr
the
anyway,
information
said-
and I discount. I knew Mark Kerr. I
He
fucking shook
didn't
hands
know
with the
him.
guy.
He's what?
Shook hands with the guy. Fucking like a metre away from me.
Did he tell you his previous career? Did he? Oh, hi, I'm Mark Kerr, Dundee United, Aberdeen, and Fairman.
He did not, but he did. It was quite obvious he was the assistant manager of Celtic at the time, and then also was there when he got relieved of his duties. as well, so-
Controversial. Again, the
So-
quizmaster.
If you didn't know
Controversial.
him by then, I mean, come on, that bit wasn't really going to sway it, was it?
Well, if you said if you said was assistant manager of Celtic Hearts last season, I would have got it like that.
Yeah, but that's
That
not really
wouldn't
the
have
game,
been
is it?
On that bit of his wiki, though, it wouldn't have still been there.
The game wasn't who was Kelly Hart's assistant manager. The game was who they used to play for. So technically, that information should have been given.
The clue was he's currently assistant manager of Celtic Hearts, where the fact was he was assistant manager of Celtic Hearts last season. If you said that fact, which is true, then I would have fucking got it.
It should have been null and void if no one got it after the career path. That's the
Yeah,
game.
Fucking joke.
So technically,
anyway,
I win.
it's fine. It's just it's bank the points. Bank the points. Shocking.
I think I'm getting sacked. Goodbye.
Bye.